Look at that! Hasn't he just debunked himself? So, we've heard before about psychics helping the police trying to solve murders, and what we're going to check out today is a psychic detective. And what this supposed psychic detective is checking out is called the Hammersmith murders. As you can see, it says at least 6, but probably 8 women lost their lives to a cruel and sadistic killer who stalked West London's suburbs in the 1960s. Despite a huge police investigation, Jack the Stripper was never caught. And the thing is about this case, all of the victims were prostitutes. They were all found undressed near the River Thames in London, leading to that nickname. Obviously a reference to Jack the Ripper. And despite all of the media surrounding this, and with it being a huge manhunt, the case actually went unsolved. Apparently 2 of the murders led back to the same suspect, but somehow over time the evidence was destroyed. Ooh, dodgy. Now, one of the victims out there was this lady here called Frances Brown, and her son Frank is claiming that he knows who the murder is, and he's pointing at this guy here, Harold Jones. I'm not sure what the deal is with just blaming someone and putting the picture out there, but Frank said it was glaringly obvious that he was the killer. So for Frank the son, he says, in his opinion, Harold Jones was the Hammersmith murderer. In his mind, he's 100% convinced Harold Jones from Wales was convicted of murdering 2 young girls in the 1920s. At just 15 years old, he killed Frida Burnell, 8, before being acquitted due to limited evidence. I mean, yeah, in the 1920s, you're not going to be looking for hair strands for DNA and things like that, are you? Just 2 months later, he lured 11-year-old Florence Little to his parents' home before hitting her over the head with a piece of wood, slit her throat, and then hid the body in the attic. Wow, this mother here, piece of shit. After pleading guilty and being sent to prison, he admitted to killing Frida. Jones was released in 1941, aged 35. He then died of cancer in 71. His involvement in the stripper case was scrutinised in 2019 BBC documentary Dark Sun, The Hunt for a Serial Killer. Okay, so people have been looking into him as the killer. So that's him there in the 1920s at 15, killing an 8-year-old and 11-year-old here. Wow, that's absolutely brutal. Look at him there. 15-year-old killer. Unbelievable. So it said he was released in 1941 and the killings happened in the 60s. Now, as you can see, you can even find articles out there claiming that Jack the Stripper never existed. And why do you think that would be? Well, one example here, Hannah Tailford, who I think is actually from round my way, so I'm not sure what she was doing down there. But as you can see in this article, it says that the police put her murder down to a suicide. I mean, what the heck? There's all of these women being strangled and stripped nude. What, did she strip nude and strangle herself to death as well? I mean, come on. Shoddy police work. And that's who we're going to be checking out today, because this supposed psychic tries to find her. Hannah Tailford had an adopted son named Stephen, and he reaches out to Tony Stockwell, the psychic detective, to try and find out what happened to Hannah. So let's see what Tony Stockwell, the psychic detective, gets up to.
Can Tony Stockwell help families unearth fresh clues? As a psychic detective.
Ooh. Wow.
In this episode, Tony sets out to help a man find answers about his mother's life and death, but uncovers a story of multiple murder. His search will take him to both ends of the country and put him on a collision course with a serial killer.
Very old school editing, isn't it? So yeah, this was in 2005. The murders took place in the 60s. There's been all kinds of things out there, articles and things like that, documentaries, as we've seen before. So if you're going to research things that have happened, the people connected, the stories with each person, to pretend to be a medium, you've obviously got years and years worth of information to collect to create a story.
Stephen Sloman was adopted at birth and for years knew nothing of his natural mother.
Okay.
At the age of 7, a newspaper reporter came to his house to ask his reaction to the news surrounding his mother's tragic death.
Wow.
The thing that brought all of this really to a head is when I was about 7 years old, we had some newspaper men came and knocked at the door of my parents after I'd been adopted and said, oh, could we speak to Stephen Tailford? And obviously my parents went, there's nobody of that name lives here. But that was the point that they realised that they had to tell me, you know, my history of who I was and where I came from.
Okay.
It's this desire to find out about his past that's driven Stephen to see Tony.
Ah, right.
Tony has asked to be kept completely in the dark. At this stage, he knows nothing who Stephen is or why he's come to see him.
Now, do you believe that? I do not.
The reason I actually wanted to see Tony Stockwell was because I wanted to find out about my mother, my birth mother. I wanted to find out what her life was like, what she was like when she moved down to London at such an early age.
Right, so the article I was reading before got a little bit mixed up, didn't it? She never adopted him, she put him up for adoption. That's how she left him with whoever it was and went down London to do what she was doing that led to her death.
I have a lady that comes forward from the spirit world, but this lady comes forward like as a mother, like to be your mum.
He's not messing around, is he? Straight in there.
So I must ask you first of all, I believe your mother is in the spirit world. Would you understand?
Yes.
Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, I know as this same lady connects with me, I really don't feel that she's passed recently, so I'm going back years, you know, for your mother's passing. I get the sense that she's long gone into the spirit world, and I also feel beyond that, that either you were still very young when she passed, or there's a sense of you being young when there's like a disconnection between you and your mother. Would you know that to be true?
That's very true, yeah.
Isn't it funny how they put on the show, not like, oh yeah, I'm getting told she died in the 60s. I'm getting told that this and that and this and then this way that. They put on a big front to seem like they're really getting something.
And it's a sense of betrayal, and it's also a sense of abandonment between you and your mum.
Look at his smile.
I knew as soon as he said that it was spot on, because Hannah actually abandoned me in Exeter almost within days of the birth.
Oh,
She
no.
had me in hospital, got a birth certificate. She then gone out, got me christened, and then abandoned me on the town hall steps. Walked away.
She wishes very
Wow.
much to bring an apology to you today, and to let you know that you were always her little boy and you will always be her little boy. This same lady got things wrong in her life, like we all do, of course she did, and I know she wants to make up for the things that she got wrong in the lifetime too. Do you know, I don't really get the sense that there's much connection to do with your dad, or there's a distance between you and your father. Do you understand this?
Yeah.
It's like he never was on the scene, or just not on the scene. You know?
Spot on.
Do you believe that there was 4 children born to your mum? I think there's 4 of you, because she talks of 4 of the kids, 4 kids. She wants.
Okay, so just before I get into him diving into info, I just wanted to see what kind of info was out there before 2005, because obviously all of the articles I was looking at were after that. And if you go onto the British newspaper archive, you can pull up all of the old documents talking about Jack the Stripper and going over all of the details, and they're from 1990, those ones there. So there was definitely information out there before this guy's psychic detective work.
Do you believe that there was 4 children born to your mum? I think there's 4 of you, because she talks of 4 of the kids, 4 kids. She wants to include your grandma.
He shook his head no there.
She wants to include your grandma. So she wants to bring here your grandmother, your mum's mum, who wants to be here with you today. Do you know if your grandmother is called Anna?
No, I wouldn't know.
No!
Wouldn't know the name is Annie or Anna.
No.
So maybe we can investigate it further.
I thought he was going, nah, mate. But he said, no, I wouldn't know, didn't he? So it could possibly be true, but he's like, nah, I wouldn't know.
No, I wouldn't know.
I get a feeling of Anna or Annie being connected, and I feel it's your grandmother, but I get a very strong love from this lady.
At the time, I haven't got any relatives, or my parents haven't got any relatives called Annie, so it didn't mean anything. But since then, we found out that my grandmother, she was Annie.
I mean, wow. Maybe we've got proof of psychic powers after all. Or do you think he's been looking stuff up? I don't trust him.
Do you know if your mum had any links with Tyne and Weir, like Newcastle?
Yeah.
Newcastle.
Yeah, North. Well, I don't know. I don't know the village, the town or the village, but I
Is
know
it
it was
near
in.
Newcastle?
It was in Northumberland. That's what.
Like Tyne and Weir and Newcastle is where I would place her. With the greatest respect, I feel that your mother had either a succession of partners, or she never really found like a suitable partner.
He's not wanting to say it, is he? He's trying to put it in other words, hoping, you know, Stephen would say it.
So she spent the life looking for someone special, or someone to remain with her through the duration of her life. Would you know this?
Yes. When Tony was giving me details about Hannah and about her life and having many partners and her friends and the type of life that she lived, that he was almost trying to be protective.
Her story was reported in a newspaper.
Have you been reading them, have you, Tony? Now, I'll tell you what, when we were watching a video the other day when Sam and Colby met a psychic and they brought someone else to the place where they were. The psychic was doing a reading on this girl and supposedly they cut out all of the personal info that he brought up. But like I covered in the video, it's very easy to find out information on people over in the US. So while they signed into the location, he probably went off and researched her. But obviously he knew Sam and Colby was going there, so he prepared a bunch of spiel to throw out there, and he gave Sam a reading, which he was probably going to anyway, because he clearly diverted from the girl who he was giving a reading to giving Sam's reading, which he'd obviously prepared. He's like, I'm not doing all this research for nothing. Hey! There's a ghost here who wants to talk to you. That's the trick I would pull on these people, because at the start, Stephen has never met Tony. Tony didn't know Stephen was coming here and wanted to talk about his mother from the past. Do you believe that? I don't. What I would do is what happened at the Sam and Colby video, except I wouldn't let them read me. I'd be like, hey, I'm coming to meet you, yeah. Let them do all the research on me, and then throw a friend in the room who isn't me. See what happens then. Hey, do your reading. Don't back out, otherwise you'll look fake as F. Give him a reading, come on. You didn't know he was coming. You don't know who he is. You've never seen his face before. It's a random friend who I brought here who you didn't know was coming. Do a reading, go on. See what happens then. And hey, if they come out with some crazy shit, I might start to think, whew, maybe there's something going on after all.
Your mother's life came to a very abrupt end. A very abrupt end. Would you know if your mother had problems here to the throat when she passed?
Oh, come on, dude.
Feel that as she...
You know what's happened, idiot. It's annoying me now. I feel like she had some problems here. Yeah, it was well documented in the news that they were all freaking strangled.
You need to calm down.
And I feel that somebody else is responsible for the way your mum passes to the spirit world. I do.
Definitely true, yeah. Hannah was murdered. She was strangled.
Is it possible your mother passed near water? Do you know water? I don't want to be too good.
Wow! How accurate is this guy? He's amazing!
I feel your mother was strangled by a man and her body was dumped in water. That's what I feel.
That's definitely, yeah.
I please forgive me if I'm wrong.
You won't be.
I believe your mother was on the game, and I feel she was killed by a client of hers, somebody she knew.
Yeah, spot on.
She keeps now making a similarity between her and her case and Jack the Ripper.
Fuck's sake.
And I feel it's like a serial killer. That's what I feel.
It is, yeah.
And I'm sure that there are, I don't want to limit this, but 8 victims come to my mind.
Brilliant! This guy is the one. This guy is legit. I mean, come on. I would love to know what he gets up to before meeting people. That would be hilarious. To be a fly on the wall in his research room.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Oh, he's got a nice little setup there, hasn't he? Oh. Now, Stephen isn't asking anything, is he? He's just letting Tony talk and give him info. I would be asking questions.
If there's family out there that's willing to meet, in some ways, the start of a new adventure.
Wow.
I want to meet them and introduce them to my family and find out, you know, what they've done with their lives and them to know what I've done with mine.
Wow, yeah, I didn't think of that. After the murders and stuff, what happened to her? Did they go and bury her somewhere? Ah, man, yeah, I feel quite sad for him, to be honest. You would want to know that, wouldn't you?
Tony is about to find out that Stephen has brought along no ordinary case. His investigation will take him on a journey of discovery as he learns the truth about who Stephen's mother really was.
Okay, so on the documentary there, they're going over everything that's happened, so I skipped ahead a bit and I skipped too far. Check out what's in the documentary here, a bit of B-roll.
Tony knows that within these reels of microfilm are the clues that will unlock the secrets surrounding Hannah Tailford.
Look at that! Hasn't he just debunked himself? Is this his research room? Oh my gosh, look, he's going through all of the old newspaper clippings, finding out all of the info. This is hilarious. That's made for some great B-roll for the documentary, yeah, but you've just kind of busted yourself. Wow, look. I can't believe it. Obviously, they're making it look like he's going to do that now, but he could have done all this before Stephen come to meet him. This is hilarious. I don't trust this guy one bit.
Like a serial killer. Your mother was strangled by a man and your body was dumped in water.
Wow.
I've managed to find an article.
Really? Ho. And did you find that as well before you met him, did you?
It mentions Hannah Tailford. It's in the Daily Mail. It's actually reported on Saturday, April 25th, 1964. It talks of trail of murder. It's an article that talks of 5 good time girls die by Thames. And Scotland Yard probed the theory, did one man murder them all? Now maybe our man did, because I had a strong feeling this guy had actually maybe murdered 8 women. Certainly 8 was important.
Yes, and when you go to the later newspapers, you find that information as well.
Now as I look at Hannah Tailford, I'm aware of a number of things. Innocence, which sounds very strange.
Oh, he's got a nice little setup there, hasn't he? Oh.
I feel that she went with a man.
Ah, okay, here we go. He's at the British Library, newspaper library. Ah, so, I bet he's a regular there, isn't he? Hey, how's it going, Tony? You back again? I mean, he's just showed us his tricks there, hasn't he? Unbelievable, man. And hey, right, they've got a documentary to make about him finding the history of all of this stuff. Okay, so do you think the documentary makers are going to genuinely, randomly throw Stephen at him? Or to make for a good documentary, do you think they're going to give him all of this information? Come on, man. He's clearly been told, hey, Stephen's going to be on this documentary. We're finding the history of his murdered mother. It was down south by someone called Jack the Stripper. They were all strangled. Go and do some research. Quick, go on. Do the showrunners think that he is genuinely a psychic detective, or are they just trying to make for a good show? I don't think it's going to be great, is it, if Tony did a Derek Acora?
Who was John, please? John.
Not a John. No.
Jack is calling out. Who was Jack? Jack. David. Dave. And there's Anne as well. Who was Anne? Anne. She wasn't overly fussy about her hair, but she knew what you were doing with her hair. Did you put a clip or something in her hair?
I feel that she had known this man and gone with him willingly. This
right.
Young woman with the rest of her life in front of her, her life was taken from her by a man that took her life when he could have taken anybody else's life, because she meant nothing more to him than any other girl that he could have picked up on that night. I also get the feeling that he was in some way known to the girls as being somebody strange, a bit odd. I also get the sense that he must have roughed up some girls that knew of him and knew we had to be a bit careful about this one because he was just a bit warped.
I mean, obviously there's not any girls out there saying that because they all got bloody killed, but you could probably assume that was true, couldn't you? You could say that stuff just making it up and it probably would be true. Oh, there's that dodgy guy again, be careful with him. Every time we see him, it seems like someone disappears. Watch it with him. And we've seen it with this guy here. I think he was called the Long Island Killer, who got away with it for so long. There we go. Because he went after prostitutes. I think he was doing it for like 30 odd years. And if you watch the documentaries about that, similar to this one that we're looking at now, he got away with it for so long because the police and people just didn't care about them. Oh, they're just sex workers. Who cares? Trash. They've obviously got no one to care about them, otherwise they wouldn't be doing that in the first place. Whatever, who cares? So that's why they were obviously choosing them victims. The same with this guy here, Jack the Stripper. Okay, so he then goes to places where she used to be, a pub and things like that, and he comes out with a load of rubbish. But I want to see what he says at the next place because he goes to the actual river down in London. Let's check that out.
We're here at Hammersmith in London, by the Thames, and this is a space where your mum's body was found. Now, I don't know exactly whether it was this pontoon or maybe the one over here, or whether in fact these are the originals.
Well, mate, if she's truly there, like she supposedly was earlier when she was telling you this and that, why can't she just tell you right now? Left, right, 10 steps ahead, there. Come on, mate.
So, how do you feel actually being here?
It's just a strange thing to think that, you know, all those years ago, that this is where she was sort of discovered.
It's kind of like a very bleak place. I know obviously it's cold and it's rather early, but it's a very bleak place to be found. And I just think sort of the indignity, really, you know, when you think we're all going to pass from this world, aren't we? And we all expect to die in our beds, surrounded by family. I don't get a sense of her here. Whether it's a place she doesn't want to return to, or maybe a place she doesn't want to return and connect with Stephen.
Man, listen, I would love it if this was true. I wish he was really speaking to the dead and trying to help Stephen on this journey that he's on. I would love it, but I just don't believe him. And just think about this. If he's lying, what a terrible thing to do. Lying to this guy's face about his deceased mother, pretending he's talking to her spirit. That is gross. If it's not real, they have no shame at all. It's unbelievable.
To find a new piece of evidence that will give Stephen the closure he's looking for. Here at the Metropolitan Archives, Tony has uncovered the original coroner's report into Hannah's
Has
death.
he? Wow. Another place where he gets his information then, huh?
He has a chance of discovering Hannah's final resting place.
I'm here with Hannah Tailford's file, and I spent a little while going through it. When I did the first initial reading for Stephen,
I was just thinking to myself there, yeah, when I was looking at articles, they were all newer articles from 2018 and things like that. So what did I do? Okay, what's out there before 2005? And all I could find was newspapers, and then to see him go to the library and pulling up newspapers kind of confirmed to me that that's what he's doing to get his information. And then he's going here to pull up the coroner's records. I actually wouldn't have thought of doing that. So he's very good at researching things, isn't he, before going into these things? Because do you really believe he's doing that right now, or do you think he did it before? I think he's doing it all before.
when I did the first initial reading for Stephen, I picked up a number of different things. One of those things was the fact that he was one of 4 children.
Here we go, here we go. And the crazy thing is, it's not even like his team or anything is doing it. He himself is such a good researcher. Isn't that bloody hilarious? So he could genuinely be going out himself to do this research so no one knows he's done it. You see what I'm saying? Could just hide the fact that he's done it and pretend it's real. But here we go. Let's see what it says in these reports of the 4 children that even Stephen didn't know because he hasn't had access to these documents.
At the time, Stephen didn't know. He wasn't aware. I've since found documentation that talks of Stephen's birth, and then subsequently the fact that Hannah had 3 other children after Stephen. So we have our 4 children there.
Together, Tony and Stephen travel to Northumberland for a long-awaited introduction.
All right, here we go.
I think when I first met Tony, I was a bit sceptic and I thought I didn't really know what the outcome would be, but I certainly never imagined that we'd be at the other end of the country meeting members of the family that I didn't even know existed.
Yes, and it hasn't come from him being a psychic detective, it's come from him being a detective. He's gone out there and found all of this information that's out there. He hasn't picked this up through being a psychic.
Hello.
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 How's it going, Carol?
Stephen, hello, nice to meet you. Oh, come on in. Come on in. I've sorted out some photographs that we've got of Hannah at different stages of her life. That's her there.
Oh, right.
I think she would be about 13. I think another one on the same day where she's actually sitting, I would imagine, with my grandmother there, and the other ladies from where they lived and their daughters. This is a photograph that she sent to my dad in 1952, I think it'll tell you on the back, which would have made her about 19 maybe.
Just a few years before I was born.
And you'll also be able to have, you know, a look at and copies of photographs of your grandma and granddad and other family members, cousins, exactly. A whole new world, I suppose.
Yeah.
Gonna have to draw out this big tree.
New
of-
start. It is a whole new world for him, isn't it? I wonder if he met people and kept in touch. Wow, pretty crazy. So, although I don't believe this Tony is a psychic at all, Stephen's really got something good from coming on here, hasn't he? But not through any psychic powers.
It's almost like someone just sort of grabs you there. Does that make sense? And gives you that feeling. But it didn't on that. But it does now.
Yeah, I think that's right, actually. It does just grab you there, I'm sure, because I think, you know, I think it's grabbed us as a family here. The opportunity to meet a member of our family who, you know, we didn't know where he was.
It's like you lose something, you just obviously find it.
Yeah.
For Stephen, it's the end of a long emotional journey, but there is still one more thing that he has to do.
Ah, yes.
Until now, he has never known the whereabouts of his mother's remains.
Ah, wow.
It turned out that when they went down, they'd actually brought Hannah home. So she's good to hear. It's now given me the opportunity to, you know, say goodbye properly.
Wow, there we go. After 47 years, he finally gets some closure and knows where she is. He can go back there all of the time now and make regular visits to see his mother. So yeah, wow, that was very cool for him, actually. I hope he's doing all right. But the psychic... I do not believe for 1 second. And just before we go, speaking of the psychic Tony Stockwell, I just wanted to see what he was up to these days, and as you can see, he is still out there doing events, doing live, giving demonstrations and talks, hosts meditation events, so he's still busy as a psychic. Let me know what you think below. I'm sure you have already, and do you think he kind of debunked himself a little, showing off his research techniques and where he goes? That to me just showed he knows what he's up to. If you want to check out some more videos, you can watch this one or this one. I appreciate you watching. Thanks so much, and I'll see you over there.